Hello, my name is Eric Kieselbaugh, your chaplain with Shepherd Care. Just wanted to spend a few minutes with you today talking about grief, good grief, good grief, and I want to give you some tools to help when you face time of grief and loss. So each of us can be impacted with grief and loss in a different way. Some losses are predictable, that we can know that they're coming. Some are unexpected. But the important thing to always remember is that grief is normal. Grief is our body's way of processing an event, and it's proof that you have a heart. Um, so expressing your feelings in healthy ways is all right. It's okay, and it's the typical stages of grief are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And I'm going to talk about those a little more in detail. Denial, like, man, uh, this isn't happening to me. I can't believe this is happening to me. Anger, why is this happening to me? You're indignant, you're upset. Bargaining, I'll be a better person if take me instead. Depression, I don't care anymore. You're ambivalent, you're sad. And then acceptance. It's a place of you're ready for what comes next. Now, these five stages of grief aren't just like stage one, stage two, stage three, stage four, stage five, and you're all better. It's normally all over you're like stage one day or part of one day, stage four, having some great memories one day or one part afternoon of like, oh, I remember this, where you reflect that that person, maybe in their faith or they're in a better place. And so all of us in dealing with grief, we're kind of all over the spectrum at any particular time. But the goal is to gradually have longer and longer periods of acceptance. Um, and so let's let's also have some more thoughts on grief. The closer the relationship, the greater the grief. Uh, uh, Caregiving is especially hard or challenging. You know, if you're trying to look after somebody, and if we are already stressed and anxious and insecure, or under a greater stress, or maybe you just experienced a loss a short time ago and now it's another loss, it's compound. Well, then that makes your grief all the harder. And then again, grief or any stressor can affect our immune system, our physical health, and our emotional health. And and our attachments are our attachments. And some people can lose a loved one, a pet, lose something important, and they're fine with that. Others, it's they have an attachment, and so we shouldn't make others that are struggling with the grief, make a stigma about it. It's their heart is processing a sadness, a loss, and so when we're facing these decisions, we could be emotional. Of course, grief affects our emotions in a major way, but it is helpful to kind of have the facts. Okay, this was the situation. Can I learn from it? I couldn't control it. Uh, the there are things that I can plan for to prepare. Um, uh, you can let the people around you know that you love them now, and you could celebrate the moments of life now. And but the important thing to understand also is that grief is a normal part of life. You know, Especially when it comes time to for a loved one, a human being to pass away, or a pet, a life. There's a birth, and unfortunately, there's a death, and so it's very helpful to develop some life skills to prepare for grief and to deal with grief. And so if you look at grief as a passage, something just to walk through, it doesn't mean something you always leave behind. Like, well, I'm better now. No, it's you could have habits and journaling and hobbies, uh, doing some intentional things to deal with grief. Instead of just closing yourself in a darkened room, you can say, well, I'm going to take a walk outside. If the sun's out, I'm going to go look at flowers. I'm going to do a hobby. You could also work on your core belief. Your core beliefs as people help us deal with things that we can't control. Those are the acceptance skills. And um, Faith really helps anyone work through a difficulty. Then you can call on a caregiver, your chaplain, a pastor, somebody that is trained, counselor, someone that can help you. And some of us, for however we're wired and made up, we might need a longer periods of therapy, for example. And so to caring for us, and caring for those around us. So allow ourselves, give ourselves permission to work through grief. Uh, Focus on our diet, our rest. Good, healthy support groups. Maybe having tea or a Coke or a coffee with a friend, a loved one, and then really putting some purpose to our life. So you could be in a position where you could really care for someone else down the road because you've received care yourself. And it puts some redemptiveness to our crisis. Like, hey, good came out of it because I got ability to care for others, or I could bring someone a meal. I could give them a card, or I could just ask them how they're doing in the break room. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. You're in my thoughts. See, it's something sincere, candid. You're respectful, and one of the best ways I find, and I like to share about dealing with grief is to make a memorial while it remains for us the living, and so we can live in such a way that we can honor that memory. Whether it was a loved one that they really had a heart, or they appreciated family. So every time we care for family, in effect, we're honoring their memory, and we can be intentional about that, and do what would matter to them. Or if it was a loved one is one thing, a pet, then you can say, what, I'm gonna save up and buy some treats for the SPCA because my pet would have appreciated that, and I want to pass it forward. So we want to live in such a way to survive the grief, the things that life throws at us. And I do want to just close with this: that there's that saying that time heals all wounds. Time can help, but that doesn't always help heal the wound. But the understanding is what can help heal our wounds. Like, hey, I need some help, or hey, grief's a passage. It's a process. Let me work through. How can I take care of myself? I'm in a vulnerable situation right now, so I want to make sure that I can take care of myself. So, like anything, please get the support you need. You are valuable. You are important, and we need you. And so, we want you to help deal with the grief and with the challenges of life. Okay. All right, again, Eric with Shepherd Care, and if you're needing assistance, you can reach out to your company, reach out to me, reach out to your church, and we want to plug you in ways to get the help that you need to survive. So we care for people where they live and work. And that's Shepherd Care. Take care.